Hey everybody, Sean here. So we're not at the youth house, we're at my house, and I just realized that I have baby vomit all over my shoulder. Whatever, it's real life. Things are not normal anymore. So before we get started, last week I shared a prayer, and I would like for us to say it together again. So the purpose of this prayer is to remind us that in dating or even in any relationship, instead of focusing so much on what the other person is doing or finding Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, this prayer is to remind us that more importantly, we need to make sure that we are right, that we are the best version of ourselves. Let's say this prayer together real quick, and then we'll get started into the next lesson. God, help me to be patient and kind. With your help, I will not be selfish or rude. I will not control others. I will not be salty. I will not hold grudges. With your help, I will love the truth. I will never give up. I will trust you always. I'll stay hopeful. I'll keep going no matter what. Amen. So that prayer is based off 1 Corinthians chapter 13. It's about the characteristics of love, and I believe that if we can carry those own characteristics in our own life, every single relationship will benefit from it. So let's get into our next lesson. So one of the things that I've been a little obsessed with lately is this. Oh, they're gonna make fun of me. So it's SimCity. So I've been building this city. It's got about 20,000 people in it right now, and everyone's happy. But the problem is that I have to be careful and not dedicate all of my time to it. Like, I have things I gotta do. I got places I need to be. I got other responsibilities that actually matter to real people, yeah, and not just on my phone. It can become an obsession. And that can happen in any aspect of our life, and it can definitely happen in dating. If we're not careful, the person that we are dating can become an obsession. And even on a greater level, maybe it's not even a person, but dating itself, the actual system of dating, we can become obsessive about it. And that can be dangerous, and it's not healthy. And so during this lesson, we're going to talk about what does it look like in our life when we start making relationships an obsession point. When we start getting obsessed over people, or maybe obsessed over the idea of being with somebody. It doesn't even really matter who it is. So if you ever had a crush on somebody, you know what it's kind of like. It's kind of like having a song stuck in your head. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at, this person, they're on your mind. And you can't get them off your mind. And I can speak from experience. There was a time when my wife and I weren't dating. We had dated for about 2 weeks, and then we broke up, and then a couple of months had gone by, and I was on Facebook. I saw this picture that she had posted. It just kind of hit me like lightning. And as soon as I saw that picture, I was like, I don't know what I have to do. Don't even know if there's anything I can do, because I pretty much messed it up first go around. But I want her to be part of my life. I want to be part of her life. And from that moment on, she was constantly on my mind. That's what happens whenever you kind of have a crush on somebody. It's like having a song stuck in your head. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's normal. It's life. But there's a fine line. There's a fine line of being enamored with someone and being obsessed with someone. So what's the difference? What does that look like? And so there's a couple things that we can they're kind of like red flags. And number one is, okay, is this the person the only thing you ever think about? If so, it's probably a problem. Is this person the only person you ever spend time with? Are they the only thing you ever talk about? And here's one that you don't really think about, but it is a big red flag. If you're not in a relationship with this person, do you fill your mind constantly with what if? Like, what would it be like? You fill your mind with the idea of dating this person, and it's all you can think about obsessively. All these things combined can cause a real problem, because whenever we make someone the point of obsession in our life, what ends up happening is we start missing out on things, other friendships, we start missing out on other people, and we start making other people feel alienated. And so if we let obsession really take hold of our life, it can really ruin the dating experience. Dating can be fun, dating can be awesome, but if it's built on an obsession, it's not fun, it's not awesome, it's tiring and it's exhausting, and it's unhealthy for you and for the other person. So let's look at a piece of scripture that can help us dive into this idea a little bit more. So the verse that we'll be looking at is Ephesians 5, verse 15 through 16. And this is what it says. This is written by Paul. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. So Paul using words like wise and unwise, if you think about it, when it comes to dating, is really a perfect thing. Because when it comes to dating, it's rarely about, is this person good or is this person bad? It's more of, is this person good for me? And are they good for me right now? So when me and my wife were first dating, she was a good girl, I was a good guy. We were both in church. We were both active in our churches. All the check boxes, were checked off. And I think most people would say, yeah, they're good for each other. They're a good fit. But my wife, Lauren, she had a couple people in her life who were very unsure if she should even be dating me, because they weren't sure if I was emotionally prepared to be in a relationship, because I had just gotten out of a relationship, and they were worried for her, and rightly so, because it only lasted about 2 weeks. And so in that moment, I was good, she was good, we checked off all the boxes, but I was not good for her at that time. I was not ready. I was not prepared. And that was irresponsible of me. But fast forward about 6 months, she's still a good girl, I'm still a good guy, but I'm in a different place. And suddenly what was wrong at one point in time was now perfect. And it made sense. And it worked. Now we're married. And I have 1 million kids. But what Paul is trying to teach us is that pay attention to what you're doing. So my kids are awake now, so you may see and hear them in the occasional weed noise. Alright. So Paul's telling us to pay attention to what we are doing and to make the best and wisest choice that we possibly can. So here's some questions that you can ask yourself while you're dating. At what point does a healthy interest in a person become an unwise obsession? And where am I in that spectrum? Let's think of a couple examples. So, following someone on Instagram, healthy. Following someone on Instagram and then going on every single post they've ever posted from the beginning of time and liking it and commenting under it. Unhealthy obsession. So Paul continues in Ephesians and says, make the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. So what is Paul saying whenever he says the days are evil? This is actually perfect timing to talk about this, because Paul is saying that we have a tendency to waste our time when we have free time. And life does not give us much free time as it is, whether your day is full of school or some kind of activity or sports. We're only given a certain amount of free time. And like right now, you're not in school and you feel like you have a little bit more free time on your hands. And what a lot of us will end up doing is we'll have this quarantine break, and then when things get back to normal, we'll go back to school. You're like, man, I wish I had that free time back. I feel like I just wasted it doing nothing. But that's our tendency, is that when we have this free time, we fill it with things that don't matter. We fill it with things that doesn't make a difference. We fill it with things that doesn't help us or benefit us. We just fill it with stuff. And so how this relates to dating is, be careful with our dating choices. Make wise dating choices. You may end up wasting your time with someone you never should have dated in the first place. Or you may have been wasting their time. It's kind of like whenever that story I was telling you about me and my wife. I was not fit to be in a relationship at that time. I made the unwise decision to waste her time. So Paul is saying we only have a certain amount of time. Use it wisely. And this is incredibly appropriate for the time that we're in, but also incredibly appropriate for dating. To summarize what Paul is saying, he's really saying is don't make anyone your everything. If you can devote part of your time, if you can devote part of your attention to dating, that's great. That's awesome. But if it's going to consume your life and cause you to miss out on your friendships, on your family, on sports, school, then that's a problem. It's an unhealthy, unwise obsession. So if dating's holding you back in life, it might be time to rethink some things. So here's 3 takeaways that I want you to remember. Number 1, get a life. Your life should be more than dating. Have a life outside of your dating relationship. What, bud?
Papi,
You're happy? The door?
Yeah.
Okay, just 1 second. Okay, hold on. Number 1, get a life. Get a life outside of the person you're dating. Expand your life. Do not get tunnel vision and get focused on this one person. Invest in friendships. Invest in family. Get involved in sports. Don't let your world get too small where it's just you and the person you're dating. Number 2, keep your interest. Do not lose yourself. Do not morph into their interests, into their likes, into the things that they care about, and lose who you are. The things that matter to you still matter. So don't let those things go away. Number 3, if you aren't in a dating relationship, stop telling yourself the lie that your life can't be good unless you're dating somebody. Listen, you do not need another person to make you whole. Do not waste your entire high school waiting on somebody to show up and make you whole, because it's not going to happen. Make high school about you. Do the things that you like to do. Do the sports that you like to do. Hang out with the people that you like hanging out with. Do not waste it because you think that you can't be happy without dating. So in ending this video, I just want to remind you that I'm not telling you to not date. Dating can be awesome, but high school can be awesome too, and don't miss that. Use high school to find out who you are, the things that you like. Don't waste the whole entire high school experience focused solely on one person. You should be focusing on you. So this week, things are a little different. You may find yourself with a little bit more free time than usual. My encouragement is, make the most of the time you've been given. Do not waste it. In other words, do not make anyone your everything. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, I feel like I'm this person. I'm a little too obsessed with this one person. Feel free to pull an adult leader aside and say, hey, I think this might be me. Can you help me out with this? All of us, including myself, have a responsibility to keep the people around us safe. Let's do not hang out in large groups and then go to grandma's house. Let's keep everybody healthy. Stay home when you can, and we'll get through this. We'll be hanging out before you know it. So y'all have a great week. I'll see y'all soon.